Hello, hello. Welcome to Movie Night, the night where we talk about movies. I'm your host, Tremaine Hayhoe. Roger and James are out this week. Poor James is sick, and Roger is out of town. And Joe right now is out of town too. So, we got just me, baby, me. So last night I watched a movie called The Black Demon. So that was it was a movie I had never heard of before in my entire life. It is a movie that I never would have heard of, but we were perusing through Amazon Prime. Actually, I was watching with my mom, and we saw a new killer shark movie, and it had to be done. We had to watch it. So we watched The Black Demon. So real quick, let me just see if it is streaming okay and if it looks okay. So I will just be testing this, and if you guys are here, say hi, don't be shy. Let me see. And we saw. Okay, so it is coming in clear. That is awesome. I'm just going to move this poll real quick because it is. So we are here at Hayhoe Studios, located inside the Sacramento Media Center in downtown Sacramento, California. And so we saw this movie, The Black Demon. Here's a synopsis. Oilman Paul Sturges' idyllic family vacation turns into a living nightmare when they encounter a gigantic megalodon shark that will stop at nothing to protect its territory. Stranded and under constant attack, Paul and his family must somehow find a way to get back to shore alive before it strikes again. So this is definitely the regular run-of-the-mill type movie. It is very cliche in a lot of ways. So this family man, it's a man, his wife, and his two kids. The daughter's probably like 14. The son, I think, is like 8, maybe 7 or 8. And they're on this family vacation to this town in Mexico. And so they go to this town in Mexico, and it's like deserted, it's abandoned, and he's just kind of like saying, oh, this is weird. It's a lot different than it was last time. They're like, oh, don't worry, I got reservations. I got hotel reservations at this hotel. They go to the hotel is closed, it's all run down. And lo and behold, there's a demonio or el demonio or demon or whatever out in the waters. So the lead guy, who is played by, his name is Josh Lucas. So he's one of those guys where you've seen him in a million different things, but you don't necessarily know his name. If you saw his face, you would definitely know who he was. You know what he'd look like. He's been in a ton of stuff, from American Psycho to Poseidon to Sweet Home Alabama to the Forever Purge, Ford versus Ferrari. This guy's been in a lot of stuff, and he is that guy that he's like, you've seen him in a lot of things, but you don't necessarily always remember his name. He's the lead in some of them, but he's mainly like kind of like this charismatic side type character that he plays. Anyway, so he's the lead in this guy, and he brings his whole family to this city in Mexico, and it turns out he is an oil rig inspector. That is his job. So the more I think about it too, is he's taking his whole family so he could do his job. So he's kind of like making a vacation out of it. So the whole town is abandoned. Like, aside from some pretty seedy looking characters, the wife has to bribe one of these characters to show them where the nearest restaurant is. The restaurant's pretty much deserted, and at that time, the husband is like, hey, honey, I better just go inspect this oil rig, and don't worry, I'll be back. So he leaves his wife and his kids at this random restaurant before they go to the hotel, before they even try to check in, before they even try to do anything. He's just abandoning his family already, just right off the gate. He's like, well, the sooner I go there, the sooner I can come back. So he goes on a boat and to get a charter boat, and they're like, oh yeah, they're waiting for me at the charter, right? So the company tells him that they're waiting for him at the charter. So he goes to the charter, and the security guard guy is like, oh yeah, they're down there, and he's like, hey, can you radio them in? Can you radio the oil rig people in and let them know that I'm coming? And then shows, and he's like, oh yeah, sure, sure. So he walks away, goes to the boat, and the security guard guy just hangs up the receiver. He's not radioing in to the oil rig at all. And then he looks at the picture of him, and he just rips up the picture of this guy who's the oil rig guy. So already you're like, okay, something is very wrong. Something is very much awry. This is not right. This is not, but the man still goes. He still goes with no problem whatsoever. He just gets in the boat, and the guy who's driving him in the boat, who's the other guy from Nacho Libre. He's like the sidekick character in Nacho Libre. Anyone see Nacho Libre out here? No? Okay. So the Nacho Libre guy is driving him in the boat, and he takes him like halfway, and he takes him to another boat where he's like, oh no, you take this boat and you take it from here. And so he gets in the boat and takes his own little motorboat to the oil rig, makes it to the oil rig, and then lo and behold, I think there was a shark. You see the shark kind of from a distance. He's walking on the oil rig, sneaking around, and there's like that cliche scene where he gets jumped, and like the people on board of the ship are like about to jump him, or they're about to like shoot him or something. And we got Necro getting bags in the building. What up, Necro? You been getting bags? I hope so. I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. So I watched this movie called The Black Demon, and so the guy goes to the oil rig, and it's that cliche scene where the abandoned place has a couple survivors, and so the survivors are there on board, and they don't know that he's a good guy, and he doesn't know that they're bad guys or that they're good guys. I mean, and so there's that scene where they're about to jump him, and then they don't jump him. He's like, no, man, I work for you guys. I was sent out here. And then they're like, oh, okay. So they've just been holding down the fort, right? So in the meantime, the wife and the kids are still back at the restaurant, and they cut back to this restaurant, the seedy restaurant. And there's these seedy looking guys just taking shots at the bar, which there's nobody else inside this restaurant, by the way. So there's one seedy guy's like taking shots at the bar, and he goes up to the wife and he's like, hey, honey, like, hey, baby, or whatever. And she's like, I'm waiting for my husband to get home. And then the guy goes, well, I don't see him here, baby. So he's like trying to hit on her. And then she smashes a bottle over the guy's head and leaves. It's like 8BE in the place to be. What up, 8BE? Hey, it's good to see you in here. Right? I haven't been live in a while, and I'm glad you guys are here, because I never know who sees the live or when it goes live, so it's great. So I saw this movie called The Black Demon. It's basically about this megalodon shark that's centered around this abandoned oil rig. So the guy gets on the oil rig. In the meantime, the wife and the kids are at this restaurant. They're getting harassed by this other seedy-looking Mexican guy. And so they go to leave, and so they go to leave, and the guys follow him, and they say, it's me, baby. It's me, baby. Me, baby. So they follow them out, right? And then lo and behold, the wife and the kids run up to this other random charter boat, and she's like, oh, let's get away. I'll pay you. I'll give you all this money. And the guy's like, no, I don't go into the waters. I don't go there. And then he sees the guys that are following them. Like the seedy guys are like following the family. And so they hop on the boat and they get away. So they get to I guess it's not really spoilers. This all happens within like the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. So it's all really setting everything up. So the charter guy, who was really hesitant about it, but takes the fat wad of cash that the woman bribes him with, takes him to the oil rig, drops them off, and while he's driving back, the huge megalodon shark comes up and just bites the whole boat, swallows it whole, and so the guy dies. And then the woman is like, "Oh, I feel so bad," and then the husband's like, "Oh, don't worry, baby. You didn't know that that was going to happen." And she's like, "Okay." So then, like, the rest of the film is set up where there's like surviving on the oil rig. They don't want to go out into the water. They're trying to fix stuff. Turns out the guy who's the lead character, who was the lead inspector for the oil rig, he ended up getting bribed to make all these things pass when he shouldn't have. So he's got this whole guilt about him, which, by the way, the guys that had been on the boat, or had been on the rig for like weeks on end, like they're scarce on food, but they've got plenty of tequila. So I was like, dude, that's the first thing that's going to be gone. Like, the tequila is going to be drank first, I think, and then they're going to have the food. But they had plenty of tequila on board, so they were taking swigs of it throughout the movie. But overall, like, the movie was, again, it's shot well. You could tell they definitely had a budget and everything. They had this lead actor, Josh Lucas, who's not necessarily knowable by his name, but you recognize him by his face. He's been in a ton of things like Ford versus Ferrari, Poseidon, Sweet Home Alabama. And, he led the movie. Everyone was like pretty passable. The daughter was actually a decent actress. The son was a pretty decent actress. So to have like 8-year old, have kids being actors is always a tough thing. The wife played a really good role. It's like she was good. She's like the strong female lead, but a lot of it didn't really make as much sense, and especially by the time you get to the ending, where they have this like overly dramatic ending that didn't have to happen, but they try to make it super dramatic. I won't give it away. Overall, The Black Demon, I would probably give it, I mean, it has pretty bad ratings on on IMDb. It has really bad ratings on Google. I think it has like a 1.9 out of 317 ratings. It has more 1-star reviews than anything. I'll be a little bit more forgiving. I'll give it 2 out of 5. So I'll give it 2. I mean, that might be a little bit generous, but I mean, hey, it's a big shark movie that you could watch with a few drinks, middle of the night, throw it on type thing. It wasn't a horrible movie. It wasn't like, you're not disdaining all the characters. There's a couple characters that are kind of annoying, but overall, I mean, it was competently made. It was competently shot. Again, they had a decent budget. I do like the whole theme of being stuck in one place, and then there's like a monster out there. So in this case, they were on an oil rig, which was kind of unique. I don't think I've seen that before in a movie. Have you guys seen it before? That type of thing in a movie. I mean, it's all very similar tropes, right? We've seen that where there's a shark out there, or there's a monster out there, and they have to stay in one place. Food is scarce, water is scarce. They got to figure out a way. They try to fix the radio. They can't fix it. Then they think they fix it, and then it doesn't get fixed type thing. So they have all these tropes, and it's distributed by this company called The Avenue, which I feel like they're very similar to The Asylum. If you guys don't know The Asylum, you probably know the movie Sharknado. The Asylum makes all these like crazy, wacky, movies. And yeah, shark movies are amazing. And that's the thing about shark movies, is like, it's over the top, it's fun, it's campy, but it knows what it is. I think where the movie fails is that it had some humor in the beginning, and then towards the end, you get less and less and less humor in it. So they really they lose the humor and they go for full drama, which I'm like, okay, this is like, all right, you're going for full drama here. I kind of check out. And you're right. You're absolutely right. 8BE. Only thing cooler than sharks is tigers. That is very true. That's a true statement coming from unbiased, anonymous sources. Do I have a shark on my desk? No, I've got a tiger on my desk. So anyway, have you guys seen The Black Demon, or have you guys even heard of it before? I had not even heard of it until last night when we were perusing through Amazon Prime. And then maybe we could just chat movies for a little bit and hang hang out for a little bit, chat some movies, and yeah, call it a night. How are you doing, Necro? Getting bags? Are you getting bags? I sure hope that you are. You gotta always be getting bags. Yeah, it's kind of came out. I think it went straight to Prime. Hector Jimenez, that's the other actor that was there. He was in Nacho Libre, so he's the other guy that played opposite Jack Black in Nacho Libre. He's a funny actor, funny, character actor. So these movies that get made, I was telling my friend about this, and he's kind of in the film industry type thing, and he goes, well, how the heck do these movies get funded? And that is a really good question, because you would think, like, wow, but there's this level of movies where they make the money just on the content anyway. Oh, nice. There's a new. Yeah, he was the skinny guy. Yeah, exactly. He was the skinny guy in Nacho Libre. So this guy plays one of the guys that was driving the boat charter to the oil rig, and he's the guy. He stops halfway through. He's like, I'm only gonna go this way, So, oh, there's a new Assassin's Creed movie. I didn't know that. It's like Assassin's Creed. It's like, what if the movie Creed and Assassin's Creed had a movie? So let's read what some of these ratings. 1 star. Cheap independent knockoff of the Meg. Bad acting, camera work, CGI, and dialogue. Things not making scientific sense. Okay, it's about a giant, huge shark, megalodon shark, that... and people are saying, this doesn't make scientific sense. Whoa. Dude, it's a shark movie, man. Come on. The daughter in the first 30 minutes is nothing more than an annoying, back-talking brat. The father... But, like, that's how a lot of teenagers, like, happen to be. They happen to act bratty, Okay, anyway. What else are they saying here? So they're saying the father through most of the film is cliche, with being some corporate supervisor who denies everything for the sake of profits, gets confronted about signing off on covering up the problems the rig is having, yet he goes on playing dumb too. 5 minutes later, he has some epiphany, poorly made, splicing random generic clips, videos of nature, urban to metropolitan and big oil refinery, where he contrarily goes on how the corporation told him to do this or that. Yet he just claimed to his wife that he didn't know. The son must have an extremely short memory, because when the mother and kids are having to get off the boat, they're riding on towards the rig, gets eaten by this shark right after. A few hours later, he decides to take a wooden boat sculpture he found down in the water. Guess what predictably happens next? Cue eye roll. Daughter says to the mother, Mom, I think we're being followed. Yet in the previous scene, they're quickly hurrying back to the vehicle that they discover the tires had been slashed, and everybody sees the same 4 drunk guys following them since the restaurant before. See, this is classic example of someone that is taking this movie way too seriously. It's about a huge, it's like sorry. It's like party in the chat. But anyway, so oh, dang it. I lost the chat. How do I get it back? Okay, wait. To show it again, use the docs menu on the menu bar. Okay. So I'm learning OBS 8BE. Docs. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Chat. Let's get the chat back. Okay, we got the chat. It's like, why so serious? Right? I know. It's like, dude, this guy's taking this way too seriously. Life of the party of that. Yeah. Dude, this guy. Dude, that's like the person. I mean, dude, if you're watching a movie about a megalodon shark and you're complaining about science in it. It's like, guys, come on, guys. See, and since being someone that makes movies, right? Once you make a movie, I think there's a level of forgiveness that you learn that no one wants to make a bad movie, and you want to do well. And okay, so Jerome, let's read another one. Jerome Paul, 1 star out of 5. I really wanted to write about how terrible this movie was. However, after some time to process the plot, various tropes, and the general idea behind the Black Demon, it's really just an average B movie with questionable ideas. Oh, but it's an average B movie, but he gave it 1 out of 5 stars? Come on. Jeez. There's no escaping the fact that suspending common sense or reality is an absolute must before watching. Yes, of course. It's about a megalodon shark eating up an oil rig. Okay. But I guess Black Demon does what I think it's supposed to, provide cheap thrills and nothing more. Okay, yes, but you still gave it 1 star. So what gives? Other elements aimed at providing more depth to what is otherwise a tried and tested formula do nothing to enhance the story or the film overall, except to offer a more convoluted way of arriving at the naturally expected conclusion. By the end, I didn't care for the tacked on the spiritual element or notions of capitalist/corporate greed. Yeah, they kind of just tack on the whole corporate greed type thing. I will give them that. They were just like, oh, hey, by the way, these corporations are really greedy, and I shouldn't have done what I did, but they would have hired me. I would have just been replaced by someone else that would have signed off on all these things. So it's like, okay, all right. The problem I found with this movie is that it didn't do a good job of creating the menace or terror of being hunted by a 70-ton shark. To be fair, there are previous shark flicks that are far more fear-inducing films that do a great job of creating paranormal and isolation. Jaws. Okay, of course you named the number 1 movie in the world. The number 1 shark movie in the world. There's other movies. It's like, oh yeah, there's other movies that do this better, like Jaws. Like, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like, help me, help you. It's like, oh, she's an average. She's a 1 out of 10. She's average. Man. So, and by the way, Open Water, I will say this movie, The Black Demon, is way more entertaining than Open Water. Open Water is an overrated film. It got so much notoriety. I don't know how or why. I think it was made for like $5,000 back in the day. But it's people literally bobbing in the water for an hour and a half. They're not doing anything. They're like, oh, maybe I got bit. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I have You never see anything. It's completely overrated. If you guys have seen Open Water and like that movie, I can't do anything for you. It was a very, very bad, very boring, no-budget movie. This had a lot more. At least it had the shark eating people. You get to see some. All right, here we go. Okay, I have a feeling this is going to be like, oh, we got Joe in the building. What up, Joe? I got to be honest, sharks scare me, so I can't watch. Really? You can't watch any shark movies, even if it's like an over-the-top, huge computer-animated shark? Okay. Shark? No way. Shark Exorcist? Dude. I might have to see that one. Might have to see like a shark, the top shark movies of all time type thing. Okay, so I have a feeling this is going to be a good review. 3 out of 5 stars. It's always funny to me when people give negative and disappointing reviews for movies like this, where it's clear before watching it's not going to be Shakespeare. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. I actually appreciate movies like this for what they are because I know before going in what to expect. Thank you. A movie that doesn't take itself super seriously with some contrived, uppity premise. I enjoy the campy nature of it, the not-so-great acting, the ridiculous storyline, and B-tier effects. If you were disappointed enough to give this movie 1 star and complain as if you were let down somehow, then congratulations, you just fooled yourself for expecting a movie about a giant shark to be anything other than what it was. Oh my gosh, 100%. You could have a $200 million budget and the movie would still be about a giant demon shark. What did you expect? Thank you. Aside from its B-tier quality, it's actually fairly entertaining. So if you're so pretentious and stuck up, you need an award winner that loves the smell of its own farts every time you watch a movie, you might want to steer clear of this one. Amen. A freaking men to this. I've never agreed with a review so much than that. That's pretty fair. I mean, you're watching a movie about a mega demon shark. Like, and your people are saying, well, oh, it's an average movie. I'll give it 1 out of 5. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. 1 star out of 5. Yeah. But in a tormented, melodramatic, big oil, bad preaching, Weird Al Yankovic, UHF, Indian Jones spoof scene inspired MacGyver montage, styrofoam melting, 25 plus cathartic mic dropping scene, perpetual emotional amnesia to what happened just minutes ago. Every disaster film, shark film, horror film, miraculous family survivor film, self-proclaimed art film cliche in the history of cinema. A yaya kind. What does a yaya mean? A yaya kind of way. Hola way. Let's just blow up the gringo, then play some cheerful, happy, hopeful music. Okay. Yeah, man, that'll fix it. A yay. A yay. I've never been more inspired to go make a movie than I am right now. Wow, this is pretty wacky. Everyone wants to make another Sharknado. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. Here we go. Paul. 3 stars out of 5. I don't usually write reviews. There's a lot of reviews that start like that. Like, okay, you don't normally, but now you're writing a review. Okay, whatever. I don't normally write reviews. That's like the girl that's like, oh, I don't normally do this. You know, it's like, dude, okay, all right. I see through this nonsense here. Okay, I don't usually write reviews, but this film seems to have attracted a lot of hate for no reason that I could see. There's nothing wrong with the acting, but the script is a bit ropey. Ropey, that's interesting. The effects are decent enough and the production values are quite high. Back in the day, before Netflix and Prime, there was a genre of film called monster movies. Wow, we're getting a history lesson here, guys. These days, that has disappeared, and monster movies that have been lumped into the horror genre. This is not a horror film, but it is a monster movie. The monster in question is a megalodon/giant shark, which is the chosen avatar of an angry Aztec god, which has been sent to destroy a leaking oil rig and the rig's crew. I mean, this is the plot of the movie. The whole nature strikes back against pollution/mankind metaphor is delivered a bit clumsily, but at least the Aztec god angle has a spark of originality. I mean, not wrong. The character representing corporate greed, Josh Lucas, comes across as arrogant and unlikable throughout the film, which I guess is intentional. I won't spoil what he says at the end. So overall, it's a half-decent monster movie and nowhere near as terrible as the majority of these reviews are saying. It's not going to change your life, but definitely worth a watch. It's like, do these guys even know how to review? Calcano. Ooh. How about Calcano? Cows that fall in a volcano. If you guys haven't hit that like button, please slap a like on that button. If you have this like party chat thing, like that's pretty cool. Definitely do that. Do the little party chat thingy thing. I gotta get the chat back up. Calcano. Wow. Cows that fall in a volcano. That could be a movie. But then they just like, I guess you cook them. They become ground beef. Is that what that is? All right, let's. Oh, here we go. Here we go, guys. 5 stars. We are in for a treat here. 5 stars. Just finished watching this, and this movie left my jaw dropped, for it gave me realizations about its message to us viewers and people around the world. I just learned that the megalodon used as a metaphor for the real meaning or message of the movie. The plot was interconnected with this mythological god and his child, the megalodon shark, and its history, who wants to protect his territory, claiming that it's under curse according to the character who believes in it because of people. It's used as the metaphor for the God who has been shown us people the warnings about our nature or planet being destroyed by us. And God wants us to hear and follow his signs not to destroy our planet. However, it ends up people ignoring it, and stuffers today. I'm reading this verbatim, baby. I'm not giving this any credit. And in the future, to all the consequences of our own destroying actions like climate change, natural disasters, and many more for still the same reasons, because of our actions who didn't took care of planet Earth. Ooh. Overall, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. It gave a sensible information as it used metaphorical story about the planet abuse, prideful people, lame consequences, and realizations at the end of the time. Thumbs up, purple heart. Wow, what a stellar review. What a stellar review. All right, 4 out of 5. Without telling you the whole story like some did below, I thought the plot was great, along with the storytelling. Bad things happen when we don't take care of Mother Nature and are money-hungry scoundrels who only care about themselves and screw the people at the bottom of the totem pole. Characters were all good except for the dad, as some of his lines and the way he said them were very corny. I'm an 80s chick. I'm an 80s chick, and I love sci-fi, so this was worth the watch for me. The only thing that didn't make sense to me is why did they decide for the rig's demise after he ended up fixing it? Enjoy the show. Yes, this is deep. This is about as deep as it gets, Joe. I mean, this is so deep, but that has to sleep. Okay, another 5 stars. Another 5 stars right here. They did a wonderful job as far as the tale goes. The legends that are based around El Diablo Negro, as I know it, are amazing and pretty much stick to the actual legends that the Aztecs had. It's also very symbolic, as the shark represents what consequences will occur if we don't start fixing our planet, and how greed and lust for finite objects can cause our demise and death. I know some people won't agree, but I give it an overall 9 out of 10. But he gave it a 5 out of 5 here, so that's kind of interesting. They could have done better as far as the underwater features and make it look a bit more realistic. But the overall message and the suspense, as well as the script, was very good. Wow. You know, this is like, oh wow, we are in the 5-star territories. This movie seems to get unnecessary hate for stupid reasons. It was a good family yet suspenseful movie. Acting was good and CGI was good. Definitely kept me off my seat in some scenes. Overall, good movie. I enjoyed and wouldn't mind rewatching. To the silly people, the silly people saying the movie completely copied the Meg, it has no similarities to the other storyline other than the fact that it's about a huge megalodon shark, and this is also about a huge megalodon shark. Okay. Silly people say the movie completely copied the Meg and has no similarities to the storyline, but how big the shark is. And this tale comes from Mexican folk tales, which it acknowledges. Not all shark movies is copying the Meg movie. That would be like saying every Scream movie would copy every Halloween movie for the simple fact of the movie's protagonist. Overhated movie, and I'm glad I didn't listen to the reviews. 5 stars. Wow. Just wow. Here we go. Okay, let's go from the 5 stars. Let's go back to the 1-star territory. This movie really captures what it's like to be trapped on an oil rig. Excruciatingly boring. The whole cast seems to come down with a bad case of whispering. Why keep the voice down? There's no one there to hear it. The movie explores special effects. It's supposed to be about a shark. However, the movie explores a different creature. The elusive shark? Born from bad CGI, the shark engulfs an entire boat and then beats itself senseless at the legs of the oil rig. Don't know why it couldn't just body slam the rig if it wanted to be gone so badly. It probably would have been fine because it's supposed to be a sea god. The family are sad for a few seconds after a death, but then everything is fine and dandy and they are sailing home, hooray. Terrible, go watch all of the Jaws movies instead. Wow. It's like, wow, just wow. Okay, here we go. Next one, 5 stars. Great acting and fabulous plot. The daughter of the main character is amazing. The Black Demon changed the way I think about my everyday life, and it has been a game changer. I take this movie as serious as a religion. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend on my 174th time rewatch. Wow. Wow. What a review. What a review. Here we go. We're going to go in the middle range here. Giving it 2 out of 5. All right, here we go. Bring it back here. Giving it a 2 out of 5 because while it sucks as a thriller horror movie, it's a great comedy filled with cringe-worthy cliche lines, lots of face/neck grabs, random wacky camera angles, and to top that off, the overall movie felt like watching an emotional roller coaster of a semi-dementia person. The amount of times I burst out laughing at this circus of a movie really made me appreciate the work/actors, directors put in making a good movie. It was funny to watch, but was honestly not scary at all. The Black Demon made $34 million. Oh, $3.4 million. Nice. Wonder what it cost. Yeah, Joe, maybe do that research while I'm doing this review. Made 3.4 million. Not bad. Okay, here we go. 3 out of 5. Not the worst I've seen. I agree with some of the reviews that the storyline, too much about the dumb family dynamic. More shark in this film, please. I love a good B movie, but there was way too much dialogue and not enough action and shark bait. They didn't have enough people on the oil rig to have sufficient shark attacks. I mean, they're not wrong about that. They could have had more people and more shark attacks. I did like the end, greater, his line as needed to go. I think there were a number of themes tapped into, but none of them were really taken to any significant places, with one exception, exploiting nature for greed. Watched it free on Prime. Sorry to those who paid for it. And that's the thing. You watch it free on Prime. It's content. Okay, here we go. Another 1 star. The most boring shark film ever made. Predicted all the troop plot points 5 minutes in. If I had to choose watching this again or an instructional video on sorting and washing laundry, suds me up. Which, by the way, Laundry Love documentary will be coming out in the next month or two, probably by Thanksgiving, I'd say. I am flabbergasted at how you can make a shark film where there's absolutely zero jump scares or suspense. I've seen so many shark films, bad ones too, that had redeeming qualities. This has none. Save yourself from this film unless you've been having trouble sleeping. Oh boy, oh my gosh. All right, here we go. We got another one. Francisco says, 1 star. I just wasted almost 2 hours of my life. Idiotic plot, illogical situations, predictable ending, and everything else from a terrible movie. You and your family are trapped on a cheap little rusty oil rig, trying to escape a prehistoric megalodon that was sent on a revenge mission by the Aztec god of rain. Oh, the megalodon has the power to create hallucinations in humans. In short, just a fun day at the beach. We got Yup in the building. What up, Yup? Yup in the chat. Yup, did you change your name? Were you something else beforehand? You're not looking familiar, but how are you, Yup? Okay, here we go. We got 2 out of 5 here. Lena says, good actors, good director, good storyline. But bad writing, they left out so much that would have explained so much there would have been more scenes. Like, what was up with that totem pole in the town? Did that bring the shark? Why did the kid take the little statue? Did that have any implication on where they survived? Why did the boat sink with the little statues in it when they left? Why did the kid find another statue on the boat? Who summoned the demon? And if it was the townspeople, why did they not give their husbands protection on the boat or get their husbands off the boat that they summoned it? The actors on cues made no sense because they were reacting to the storyline. But we didn't know the whole storyline. Would have been a good movie if it would have been put together better. I might watch it again someday. It was worth seeing, but just not a great movie. Okay, quite the review. Wow, what a review. All right, here we go. Another 1 star. We'll do a couple more. How are we on time? We're good on time here. Number 1 from a Joe, another Joe Gravelding. Absolute waste of money to rent. Acting was terrible. I couldn't get in touch with any of the characters. There was only 20 to 30 minutes, if even, of screen time for the shark. The other hour to hour and 10 minutes was a bunch of wasted time BS. Almost the entire movie went by without the shark. Excuse me. The CGI is the only pro, as the shark looks great. I don't mean to bash the cast, but this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. A disgrace, even for the shark movie scene. Do not watch this unless you are bored out of your mind. It is very poor. Well, he talked about like how great the shark looked, but then he trashed the rest of the movie. The movie isn't that bad. As someone who's seen a lot of movies and a lot of bad movies, this movie was nowhere near that bad. All right, here's another 1 star. This movie was bad. Front to back bad. Bad acting, bad story, bad script, bad special effects, bad directing. Where to start? If you're going to be expecting a great shark movie, don't bother to leave the house. There's only one decent shark special effect, and even it looks bad by today's standards. The story, such as it is the shark is the embodiment of an ancient Aztec god, displeased by global warming and an oil company's rig. The acting is community theater quality, with apologies for insulting competent community theaters. Hey, I was in a community theater. It forced to come up with something decent about this disaster, I'd have to go with the end credits are in focus for the most part. 0 stars, although Google insists they get at least 1. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's give a refreshing one. 4 stars out of 5. Gerald says, amazing. In today's world, everything has to be either hyped or destroyed. Movies are meant to be an escape from everyday tedious tasks, from washing clothes to working our 8 hours. Sure, it may not be an epic like Titanic or an older The Great Escape, but folks, just take it as entertainment. Nothing more or less. And if it's not to your liking, there is a thing called remote, which gives one hundreds of other choices, actually tens of thousands of other choices here. Okay, a couple more. I'm going to keep saying a couple more, then keep doing a couple more. Julia says 1 out of 5. I am absolutely appalled by my experience watching this movie. Sounds like her name should be Karen. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this disaster of a movie. First of all, let me tell you, I was expecting a delightful family film, but what I got was a complete and utter disappointment. I had high hopes about this movie would bring some joy to my miserable existence. Oh, jeez. Horrible. But no, it did the exact opposite. The main issue that infuriated me was the kid in the movie. I mean, why didn't they just sacrifice him? It's outrageous. Jeez. And don't even get me started on the plot. It was convoluted and made absolutely no sense. It was a waste of my precious time. He just talks about how miserable his life is, and now he's saying how precious his time is. Okay, all right. And I demand a refund. Well, if you watch it on Amazon Prime, you watch it for free. But I digress. The Black Demon is an absolute disgrace, and I can't believe I wasted my hard-earned money on this garbage. Okay, I guess they did pay for it. The filmmakers should be ashamed of themselves. Shame. Shame on you, filmmakers, for subjecting audiences to such a terrible cinematic experience. I wouldn't recommend this movie to my worst enemy. It is a 1-star disaster. I'm more than disappointed, to say the least. Oh my gosh. Okay, two more, guys, 2 more. Alicio Masala says, 4 out of 5. It's an independent, low-budget movie. The plot is simplistic, but still delivers a story. The acting from some of the actors is good, others less. It has nothing to do with the terrible movies from Asylum. This one actually makes sense. I don't understand the 1-star reviews from people comparing it with The Meg. That one had a $150 million budget. This one definitely not. For what did we ever figure out the budget of this movie, Joe? For what they've been able to pull it off, I think it's pretty decent. Wow, I feel like there's either 1 stars or like 4 or 5 stars. Not many in between. Okay, bad, just bad. LOL. 1 star out of 5. The first maybe 10 to 15 minutes seemed like it was going to be decent, but it just went down. It didn't stop. The trailer showed all the parts the shark is shown. Good thing I didn't watch the trailer. I don't typically watch, if I haven't seen the movie and I know I want to watch it, I just won't watch the trailer because a lot of trailers give away way too much of the movie. How about you guys? Do you guys always watch the trailer, or do you guys skip the trailer too? Budget not listed. That might mean that they lost money on this. This might have been like a $5 to $10 million movie. I feel like it was like that kind of range. The movie got incredibly boring. The acting was really, really bad. Save yourself a few bucks renting this movie and use it to watch The Meg again. LOL. Now that was a great shark movie, dude. I want to make a shark movie. I really want to. Okay, here we go. Okay, one more. One more. Chris Burr Martin says, take Deep Blue Sea and Jaws. Now, take away special effects that cost more than a trial version of Windows Movie Maker. likable characters, and add dialogue that was written by a junior high school student trying to make a script the night before it's due. And you have this movie. Jeez, this is brutal. Just awful. Some scenes make no sense unless they're there to add some type of cliche bingo card. If I was on a plane watching this, I'd still walk out. Oh, brutal. Brutal. Okay, one positive. We'll end it on a positive note, guys. We'll end it on a positive note. There's a quick one. This movie's getting hate for no reason. This is the Mexican Meg, and it was a great story. The camera work is really unique and adds to the emotion. 5 stars is what that person gave it. We'll give a lot of 1 stars. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 2 stars, 2 stars. I never given any feedback to any movies. I just watched the movie and enjoyed it extremely. This deserves 5 stars. Okay. Okay. 5 stars. Gladys says, I don't understand why so many bad reviews. Like someone said on here, it's like the Mexican Meg with a great story behind it. Just watch it to see for yourself, please. You decide. I really liked it. So as you guys see, audiences are pretty polar opposite with this movie. I mean, you're going in to watch a movie about a megalodon shark haunting an oil rig. I mean, what else do you need to know? Are you looking for Shakespeare? I hope not. But it's a fun movie. It has fun parts in it. You watch it, you know what to expect from it. Yeah, maybe it's not completely groundbreaking. I've seen way worse movies. Acting was competent enough. Storyline, yeah, it's competent enough. And again, you're watching a movie about a mega shark haunting a town. So, you know, it was watchable. It was entertaining. If you guys want to see it, it's on Amazon Prime right now. So if you guys watch it, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you guys didn't know, we started a new show. This is Movie Night, the night where we talk about movies. Normally we have a few more people with us, but this week it is just me. Hopefully next week we will be back to normal with myself, Joe, James, and Roger. Sometimes we can get a special guest if we get a friend in the studio. But it looks like we will be most likely watching Saw X next week. That'll be a good one. I can't wait for that one. It'll be more of a back and forth. I'm going to try to be consistent with at least one of these a week. That is something that I will be the first to admit. I have not been always consistent on YouTube, but if I could consistently come out with a movie review show once a week, I could definitely do that. And Joe and we are talking about making it live stream, multi-camera angle. So we are looking into that. We might do a regular one next week, or we might try to do a live stream type thing. I guess it depends on how many people can make it. So the more cameras that we have, the more complicated it gets. But it would be cool to have a live movie review show. And then because typically the ones that I've edited have taken me 5 to 7 hours to edit and put together, and you know, all that good stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. Tune into Movie Night. If you guys haven't seen the other episodes, go check them out. And if you guys want to support the channel, support us on Patreon. That helps us out big time. We just sent a poster to Rideshare Lisa, and she sent me a text back. So Rideshare Lisa loves her poster. Hopefully she could send in a picture of it when she gets it up on her wall. I'm not sure when that'll be, but hopefully she puts it up on her wall. And yeah, if you guys want to grab your poster, there's links in the description below. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for watching, Joe. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Yup. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.